Hey everyone, welcome to my Tuesday Facebook Live to Go class. I am April Davis with April Davis Creations. I'm an independent demonstrator with Stampin Up and I live in Spring Hill, Kansas. I'm doing my regular check just to make sure that I've gone live. And it looks like I have, so that's awesome. So welcome. Today is Tuesday, September 30th, the last day of September. Tomorrow is October 1st. I can't hardly believe it. This year has just flown by. And there's so much I want to tell you about today and why October 1st is so important. Excuse me. So we're going to go ahead and get started. I'm going to switch screens. Let me see. I think I'll join you and I'm going to switch screens. And the first thing I want to talk about is this incredible kit special, starter kit special that Stampin' Up! Is offering for the month of October. It starts tomorrow and it goes through October the 31st. And as I share some other things with you today, I want you to keep this in mind. Obviously, you could start a business just like I have, but put that aside for the moment. This is an incredible starter kit special that when you purchase your starter kit for $35, you're going to get $125 worth of product. You're going to get $125 worth of product, plus you're going to get a free paper pumpkin, plus you're going to get free shipping on all the product that you select. And I've got some product that I'm going to be sharing with you today that this starter kit special could help you get. Also, think about your wish list. Do you have lots of things on your wish list? This is a great way to get those things. You can be a hobby demoist, or you can just get the kit and enjoy the discount that Stampin' Up! Is giving you and call that good. Either way works. But we have two specials. We've got the $35 and you get $125 worth of product, or you can pay the regular $99, which is what the kit normally is, $99 and you get $125. For this special, it's $99 and you get $189 worth of product. So again, that is $90 worth of free product, free shipping on all of that product, and your free paper pumpkin. So just keep that in mind as we talk before I get into the card class, because this is a to-go class. But I am going to go ahead and put my website up there. There is more information on the website. So if you are interested or just thinking about it, go take a look at the benefits, the fact that you get a discount. You start at 20%, you can get up to 25% of a discount, just as a hobby demoist who just loves to craft like I do. Anyway, all right, let's move on to something else. Excuse me again. Okay, this is about the crafting advent calendar. Oh my goodness, guys. I just got my crafting advent calendar today. I am so excited. I'm reaching over here because I'm going to pull it over. I've got some other things to show you. But look at this. It's gorgeous. It's a fun advent calendar. And when you open it up, and I'm not going to show you anything inside, but you can tell that I've already opened it. And the reason that I've already opened it is because I'm offering a tutorial. I'm going to do a project with every single item that comes behind these 12 doors. So when you purchase the advent calendar through me, you will automatically get a free tutorial with 12 different projects. Now, I don't know if you knew it or not, but there is actually a stamp set that comes with your advent calendar. So you've got the stamp set, you've got sentiments, and then you've got some flowers. So this automatically comes with the advent calendar. It's not a secret, but then all of the goodies that are inside of this advent calendar you can utilize with this stamp set. So I'm going to create 12 projects. So this advent calendar sells for $99. Do you know that you could get it for free and then some if you take advantage of the starter kit, which is only $35. So you're going to get this and pay $35 and still have some money to spend, another $25 to spend. So anyway, just think about it if the advent calendar is on your wish list. Lots of fun goodies in here. And I don't know if you can tell or not, but I'm really excited. I did open it because I have to start thinking about what projects I'm going to create for you guys. And it blew me away. It totally blew me away. So I'm really excited to create for you guys. All right, let me move this off to the side. And let's see what's next on my list of things to talk about. Oh, Stampin' Up's got so many fun things. This is exciting. World Card Making Day is this weekend. It's Saturday. And everybody is invited. It is a free event. We do have a kit that goes along with it, but I don't know that you're going to get the kit in time, but that's okay. You can always do the kit later, but it's a free time. It's an hour that everybody's coming together to craft. And the only thing you have to do is go out and register. Go out and register. When you register, they're going to send you the Facebook link that you need in order to be able to join. It's 3 o'clock my time, so I think it's like 2 o'clock Mountain Time on Saturday. Anyway, everybody who registers then will receive a free gift. And I don't know what it is, but I'm going to be there. A free gift after the event. So very exciting. I hope you guys can join us. All right, what else is Stampin' Up doing? Stampin' Up has a craft class that they're going to be teaching. Remember a few months ago when they did the virtual scrapbooking class? Well, now they're doing a crafting class, and it's going to feature the Traditions of Christmas suite. All right, so let me bring this over because you guys have got to see this suite, and then we'll talk more about the class. The suite is in your mini catalog, and it comes with, it comes with 2 different stamp sets, traditional labels, and Christmas greenery. Now, one thing that I will say about these 2 is that I'm also preparing a project that I think you guys are going to love with these stamp sets. But we've got this, and then it also comes with ribbon. It comes with our traditional sparkling sequins. How pretty are those? It comes with the traditional wreath in 3D. And then it comes with this gorgeous designer series paper that's got gold foil in it. So front, back. Here's the other front and back. And this has got gold foil. Can you see the sparkle from the gold foil? And then we've got these flowers. Sparkle from the gold foil, and the backs. And the backs are holiday colors as well. Some more pretty flowers. Secret Sea back. Look at these. Aren't these pretty? So I've got a project that I'm working on that this will pair with really well. And in fact, my project, the paper is going to be free, but lots and lots of fun goodies in this suite. I'm going to pull this suite aside for just a second because I want to go back to the class part of it. The class is on October the 23rd at 2 p.m. Mountain Time. You have to register for it or you have to purchase it. So starting on October the 1st, so that's tomorrow. That's why October the 1st is so important. You can purchase the Traditions of Christmas class. Perhaps you've already got the suite. So join us for the class so you can make some fun goodies. And then they also give you the number for the suite itself. But we've got that. They also give you some additional supplies. These are probably supplies that you already have in your craft room, the things that we'll be using in addition to the suite. So the reason that I want to bring this back in again is the suite, the entire suite, if you get everything, is $138.75. The special that the kit has, for $99, you can get $189 worth of free product. You can get this suite for $99 and then still have money to spend after the fact. So how fun is that going to be? So just think about it. If there's some things on your wish list that you're interested in, like this class or like the advent calendar, you might want to take advantage of this incredible kit, starter kit special that they've got. All right, I'm going to move this out of the way and I'm going to talk about some other things because I want to be sure to get to my class, which is the to-go class. I want to mention that registration for Paper Pumpkin for the October Paper Pumpkin goes through October 10th, September, I do a tutorial with 3 other ladies. And when you sign up for Paper Pumpkin through me, you will every month get an alternatives tutorial. It's 12 additional projects that you can use with your Paper Pumpkin class. I designed 3, and then the 3 others also designed 3 projects. And so you get 12 additional projects that you can create with your Paper Pumpkin. So registration for October, which it looks like it's going to be in the holiday theme, ends October the 10th. All right, the last thing I want to talk about before we move into the to-go class is I want to talk about my Crafting Happiness Club. This is my monthly club. And I just wanted to share with you the gorgeous cards that you're going to be making. You make 4 cards and you make 2 of each card. So we're following the Gathering Moments bundle. And this is card number 1. We've got card number 2. You're going to receive all the card stock that you need, everything that you need that I don't include in the kit you will have. But you do have to have the Gathering Moments bundle and or something that's similar. You can use this kit and use something that's already in your library. But look how pretty these cards are. In your kit, you will receive a half a package of Designer Series paper. You'll receive a full package of the Early Espresso and Old Olive Linen thread. And then you're going to receive equivalent to a full pack of embellishments, but they're going to be a variety. So instead of having just one, since I used several different embellishments, you're going to get a little bit of each one of them equivalent to a full pack of embellishments. So that's what's going on with the Crafting Happiness Club. And that club is open for registration through the 20th of October. And you can go to my website again and go to Classes and Clubs and you'll find Crafting Happiness. Okay, let me show you what we're doing today. We are featuring the spooky, I'm going to take this down. Let's see if I can do that. The spooky Halloween bundle. Let me pull this over. I'm looking, I've got so much stuff out here. I wanted to show you the paper that we're going to be pairing this with. So this paper is the Spooky Suite Designer Series paper. And so fun. Cute little characters. In the Spooky Halloween bundle, you're going to receive a number of dies, and of course you've got your stamps. I've already got my stamps out for today, but you've got a number of dies with it, and some of the dies will, let me see, I'm trying to think if they match the paper or not. No, it doesn't look like they match the paper, but I'm going to show you the paper anyway, because you can fussy cut these if you choose to. So here's, and you're going to get 2 of each sheet. I've just pulled out 1 of each, but the back side of each of these papers is so pretty to use for the rest of your cards. But here we've got windows with little eyeballs and cats and bats and pumpkins. And this is another with the, this is orange. I don't know if you can see it on the camera or not, but this is orange. And then look at all these fun little treats here. And then we've got black and orange here. And then these can actually be cut apart and used as little tags if you choose to do that. And then we've got some gray in the back. And then a lot of fun being able to cut these apart and create cards out of this. In fact, if you're part of my email list, plug for my email, every month you get a free tutorial at the end of the month. So today, September 30th, that tutorial went out and it featured the Spooky Halloween set, and it has this Designer Series paper in it. So if you're looking for some projects, there's some fun projects in that tutorial. And then last but not least, it has some pop-outs that you can use. I didn't use any pop-outs today, but the DSP set has the pop-outs in addition to the Designer Series paper. So let me move this over, and I'm going to bring in the cards that we're going to be creating. We've got 3 different cards. We've got this one, the Happy Halloween card, and we're going to be doing some ink blending with this one. And then we've got our same little cat and this fun card, and we're going to talk about how we was able to get that grid plaid to kind of pop. And then we've got this card that we're going to create that has our little dog on it, and it opens up like this. How fun is that? All right, I'm going to take myself down so that I'm not blocking your view. And let's go ahead and get started. We're going to get started with the one that we're going to do the ink blending. So let me bring that kit out. Let's see, it's this one. And we've got some pumpkin pie cardstock. That's going to be our base. And then I'm going to layer it up. So we're going to layer it up with basic black. I've got my basic white that we're going to actually be doing the ink blending on. And then I've got a piece of basic white that we're going to stamp our cat on. And let me see, I've got a piece of pumpkin pie. Again, we're going to stamp our pumpkin on. And then I went ahead and used the dies on cutting out the house, just to kind of save us a little bit of time, although we are going to be doing a bit of die cutting. So let me move things out of the way. And I think the first thing that I want to do so that I can give it time to dry is do our ink blending. So I decided that I was going to use 3 different colors of ink. I've got Berry Burst, Blackberry Bliss, and I have Fresh Freesia. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to start with the lighter of the 3 colors, and I'm going to start at the bottom of my card, and we're going to just make this darker and darker as we go along. So we're going to do it like this. I've got 3 blending brushes out, and a lot of times my blending brushes will be in the same family. So if I wanted to, I could use the same blending brush, and I would just start with the lighter of the 3 inks, and then I would just get darker and darker as I go along. So I've got a paper towel here. I knew I was going to be doing this, but like this, I know this is the lighter of the 3 inks. So when I'm cleaning my brushes, I just take a paper towel and brush it across. So this is, for the most part, pretty clean. But let's go ahead. I'm going to move these guys out of the way, and let's get started. And I am working on my glass mat, so I don't really need to worry about and getting any paper or anything. This glass mat will clean up with some baby wipes, so I'm really, you know, it's just easy peasy to work on. So I'm just kind of tapping this off a little bit, and I'm going to start off, and I'm just going to blend on. And these colors you will layer. So I'm using the Fresh Freesia first, and I'm going to blend it in. And you do have to do you have to be patient because it's going to take a few layers to get your color on. But you can see this happening. And if I wanted to, the ink that I've tapped off, I can come back in and I can pick it up. So you're seeing I don't really have a lot of ink on my glass. I'm going to get more ink here, and we're just going to blend. I just thought that doing Halloween cards today would be fun. It's the end of September, and if you guys, you know, have fun with Halloween, like the costumes and the pumpkins and all of that, I didn't want to wait until later in October to share some Halloween cards with you. So if this is something that you're interested in, of course, you can get this kit for free by placing an order in my online store. And when you do place an order in my online store, all that information is on my website. But when you place an order in my online store, then I will send you the kit for free. And the only thing that you need to make sure you have is the stamp set, the Spooky Halloween, the bundle. All right, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to move on to my next color, which is Berry Burst. So we're going to do that, and I'm going to take my next darkest brush. And this one, there's a lot more color to this one, right? So I'm going to start off again, and this time we're going to come down the middle. The reason I start off and I don't start on the paper directly is I don't want to leave a mark. You know, you see how I've kind of got a mark when I just tap it off. I want this to look blended. Hi, Jan. It's nice to see you. I'm so glad you caught me live too. All right, so we're just blending away here. You can see I've got a little bit of darkness off to this side. And you can make this as dark as you want it to. I think I did a lot of extra blending on my sample card. I want to get to the other card, so I may not make this card quite as dark, but you're still gonna see the difference between the 3 colors. I'm gonna bring this one back in, and I'm gonna, so my Fresh Freesia, and I'm gonna do that because I want this line to blend. So I'm just gonna tap that off here, and I'm gonna come up and I'm gonna try to blend this together. So that kind of looks seamless. It's lighter here, you can see how it's getting darker, but I want it to be just kind of a seamless blend. All right, so I'm gonna move these off to the side. I'm gonna leave them out just for the moment because I might wanna dip into them again. And now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna bring my Blackberry Bliss in. And my Blackberry Bliss is the darkest of the colors, so I'm gonna be really careful with it. I'm gonna turn this way. This brush is a smaller brush. I prefer when I'm doing blending like this to use the larger brushes. However, this one was already used for Blackberry Bliss. So I'm gonna start off again, and we're gonna just bring this in, and you can already see how much darker the Blackberry Bliss is. And I'm not gonna dip into my ink pad because I've got ink on my glass mat. So I'm just gonna pick up my ink from the glass mat, and I'm gonna blend this way. And then when I feel like I need more, I can do that. So let's go ahead and keep blending this. I'm getting a darker sky. I'm gonna blend that in together with my Berry Burst here in just a second. I just wanna make sure I'm getting my Blackberry Bliss all blended. Okay, I'm gonna go back and I'm gonna take the darker of my big brush from the Berry Burst, and we're gonna come down the middle again, and I'm gonna blend this. And so it really is just layering and blending, and then it all just kind of meshes together, if you will, blends together. So I'm gonna do this. Get those two blended together. I'm gonna get my Blackberry Bliss again, pick up some of this and blend. Purple is a fun Halloween color for me. I know it's not traditional. I think black and orange are traditional, but purple has always been a fun Halloween color for me as well. So we've got this, I'm getting it all blended. We're gonna go ahead and I'm gonna bring the fresh Freesia in again. We're gonna blend here. I'm gonna work to get this Blackberry Bliss blended in a little bit better. Okay, I think we're gonna stop here for now. All right, so let me close these up and we'll get to the next step, which is the stamping. So let me close these up, and before I do any of that, I'm gonna move these out of the way so I don't get them in, I don't get my hands in them. And I've got some baby wipes that I keep off to the side. So let's go ahead and clean this mat up. Move that off, and the glass mat just cleans up easy peasy. So I'll get that done. I've got my paper towel here. So we've got that all dried off, and now we can continue to create our card. All right, so the first thing I want to do is I'm going to bring in my bats. So let me bring in my bats, and we are going to use Memento black ink. Thank you. Oh, I am going to bring in my mat because I am using photopolymer stamps. So what I want to do, I'm not going to adhere it just yet because I'm still stamping, but I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to place my haunted house down there because I want my haunted house to be present while I go ahead and get my bats here. So I know how I want to set my bats up. So we're going to go ahead and maybe do our bats like this. Okay, so we've got our bats, and we're gonna go ahead and clean off this stamp, and we're going to then stamp Happy Halloween. And then we can set this aside to dry a little bit while we work on our little kitty cat. So let me, whoops, I'm gonna need this. Never mind, let's pull out Happy Halloween. So now I've got Happy Halloween, double checking to make sure I'm getting a good coating on my Happy Halloween. Whoops, probably a little bit too much. I'm gonna stamp this off just a second. When I inked up my stamp pad earlier this week, and it's pretty juicy, so I just need to be careful, tap, tap, tap. But I wanna make sure I get plenty of ink on both. In fact, what I think I might do is take my pad. Sometimes it's easier if you just turn your stamp over and tap it on this way. Okay, I think I'm good. And then we'll go ahead and get this stamped over here. And I'm gonna probably right about here. So I want to make sure I get a good connection. If you wanted to, you could also put this in a stamp positioner, and then you could make it even darker if you wanted to. I'm a little light on this side. I'm okay with that. But if I wanted it really, really dark, I might want to stamp it a couple, 2 or 3 times. So let me clean this off, and I'll put this off to the side, and we're going to work on our cat. So let me move this so that ink that we've blended can dry a little bit. And I'm going to bring out my scrap of basic white, and I'm also going to bring out my pumpkin pie. And we're going to stamp our kitten, our little cat. I'm going to do the same thing here because I want to get plenty of coverage on the hat, and it doesn't really matter if it's going to go on the pumpkin or the little pot that he's got, not with this card. I'm still seeing, when you look through, you can kind of see sometimes it's maybe not quite as thick as you want it to be, or as covered as you want it to be. Again, a stamp positioner would probably help with that. But in the meantime, I'm going to go ahead and just stamp this. And then if my black isn't as black as I want it to be, then I can always take a marker to it to make it even more black. But I want to make sure I get a good connection here since I'm not using a stamp positioner, and that looks pretty good. All right, I'm going to leave this out. Let's clean this off really quickly. And I've got a pumpkin, and we're going to go ahead and we're going to stamp our pumpkin too. So let me get good coverage on my pumpkin. I'm just going to put my pumpkin down here. And the good news is I have a die for it. So we will be, after I get done coloring my kitten, we'll die cut both of these. So clean that off. All right, so I have my little bucket of my Stampin' Blends. So I want to go ahead and color my kitten in I think I'm going to use the light granite, the light gray granite, and the dark gray granite. So I'm going to start with the dark, and basically I'm just going to do like his ears in dark. So let me get this done. I'm going to do his little paws in dark. I'm going to do his tail in dark. And then I'm going to do his little nose right here in dark. And I'm going to do his entire muzzle, I guess. Is that what we would call it? And then I've got some pink, dark petal pink that I'm going to utilize for his little nose right here and the insides of his ears. Okay, then we're going to use the light gray granite for the rest of him, or at least his face, because the rest of him, then we're just going to get his little Halloween outfit. So let me do this real quick. Get him colored in. All right, now I'm going to use Granny Apple Green for his outfit, and then I'm going to use purple and orange for his socks. How do you like that for a combo? All right, so let's go ahead and I'm going to make his skirt, her skirt. I guess it's a girl, so I'll make her skirt the light. Oh, I'm not using Granny Apple Green. This is Lemon Lime. So we've got this. So we'll get that colored in. Okay, and then we'll use the dark for the top. And I'm not really seeing much of a difference between the light and the dark. I'm sure there is, but I'm not seeing too much of it. If I want to have a contrast, I could perhaps maybe put a second layer on just to kind of darken it up, which is what I think I'm doing. Okay, so we've got that tiny bit of a contrast. All right, let's go ahead and get the socks done, and I'm gonna use orange, and let me see, I think I want his her shoes to be purple. So I'm just going to go ahead and get this layer in right here. And then we're going to do some orange here. And the rest of it's going to be purple. Now I could use like Highland Heather. We don't have too many purples that are dark. And so I went ahead and I brought out my Stampin' Up marker. If you happen to have the Stampin' Up markers, remember Stampin' Up is going to be discontinuing them going forward. They'll sell them until they don't have them to sell anymore. But there's always, you know, new colors coming out with the in colors and stuff each year. So they may come out with a darker purple. All right. So we got that. So this little kitten is done. Let me put these away. We're going to pull these out again pretty soon. But now what I can do is I can pull the dies out. And let's go ahead and get these guys die cut. So here's my die for the little kitten. And then I have this little bitty die for my pumpkin. So let me bring out my mint tape to kind of help hold this in place. Okay, so we'll do that. And then our little pumpkin, get that in place. He's so little. All right, so right there. Okay, so let me move this out of the way. And in fact, well, you'll see what I'm gonna do here in just a second. Let me bring my little mini cut and emboss in. And we'll go ahead and put the kitten down. And I think I have enough room that I can run these both through together, which is awesome. So let's go ahead and get these cut. All right, out of the way. Okay, let's pull these. I'm gonna save my tape. I've got more die cutting to do later. So there's our little kitten, and here's my little pumpkin. So I'll move these out of the way, and I'm just gonna set my dies over here. All right, I'm gonna bring the card back in, but what I wanna show you, I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna adhere my pumpkin. I'm looking for some little dimensionals. So let me reach over here and grab some little mini dimensionals. I want this pumpkin to sit where this pot is, but I don't want the handle to be orange. I don't want it to hide the hand of the kitten. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take my snips and I'm just going to trim around the pumpkin, basically trim that handle away. So we'll go ahead and get this trimmed up. There we go. And then I'm going to turn this over and I'm going to take a little dimensional, put on the, well, I wanted to put it in the middle. It got away from me. All right, right there. And then what I can do is I'll peel my back off and I can take my pumpkin and I can set it right here. And it looks like now the pumpkin, let me bring it up so you guys can see it. It looks like the pumpkin has a handle and the little kitten's holding it. So let me bring my card back in, move these out of the way. And my bone folder, I'm gonna go ahead and get this burnished. And then we'll go ahead and we'll take, I'm gonna bring in my, whoa, I almost lost that die, I gotta be careful. I'm gonna bring in what we've already stamped, and I can go ahead and I'm gonna put my haunted house on it. So let me grab my glue, and then we're going to adhere this to the black layer. So just a little bit of glue here, doesn't take much. I love my precision tip bottle because it just allows me to kind of lay it around without having a massive flood of glue. And then I'm going to go ahead and put my house probably right about here. I think I want it to be a straight house. Yeah, that looks good. Okay, and then we'll put more glue on. Oh, how come that's not sticking? Oh, could be because maybe my ink is still wet. Let's give it a second to just adhere. Because I know it wasn't lack of not having enough glue on it. You can see I'm getting it on my hand, so that ink is still a bit wet. It's making it a little bit difficult. So you do want to like do your inking first and then start building your card, because it takes a bit when you're blending ink like that and layering it. It's a lot of ink. You want it to be able to adhere, dry before you start to adhere things to it. So let's go ahead and we're going to get this laid out now, and I'm going to, again, I'm grateful for glue because that way I can get it centered up appropriately. And I'm actually going to just turn it over so I can do some pressing here. I'd rather press it this way than from the front at this point in time because of the glue, or because of the ink. All right, let's go ahead and get this down onto our pumpkin pie card base. Again, I'm going to scooch this around so I can get it centered appropriately. Okay. Again, I think I'm just going to press from the back side. Normally you wouldn't have to quite do so much pressing, except I just want everything to stick. And I've got a little bit of glue right here, no problem. All right, now we're going to put our kitten down, so I need more dimensionals. So let's go ahead and we'll put some dimensionals down here. One there. We'll put one here, and then I'm going to take one of the little ones, and I'm going to put one up here on the hat. Okay. Use my taper pick to help remove the backs. Okay. And then we're going to put the kitten right about here, over my little house around the Halloween. Fun, fun. And then we've got these great, all right, I know you're here. Oh, we've got these great, they're called Shimmer Star foam stickers, and they really are foam. So let me go ahead and pull these out. And keeping with the theme of purple, I'm gonna go ahead and we're gonna add a star up here and another little star down here. And then I will take one of the little stars and I'm going to put it down here. I'm going to move this stuff out of the way. And we have card number 1 completed. How fun is that? Did you like the ink blending? It just adds, it adds a lot. And I just love the purple, but it's fun to do it in blues too if you're doing like a winter scene, but we're not doing a winter scene, we're doing a Halloween scene. Okay, so let's move on, and I am going to show you card number 2. Let's go ahead and do this one. All right, so what is in that kit? Move the stuff out of the way. Okay, so we have basic black. I have a piece of basic white that we are going to use for the inside piece. So this is already scored, this is already scored. We'll get that in a minute. I've got a piece of scrap we're going to stamp our dog on. I've got some designer series paper that we're going to adhere to the card. And then I've got a rectangle that was cut from the, I thought I had it here. Let me see if I've got it over here. Seriously thought I had it. Can't think of the name of it right now, but it will come to me. But anyway, I went ahead and die cut that because that's going to be the front of our card. And you can see like the little detail in it. All right, anything else I think I should have? I've got a piece of designer series paper here, and then I've got a couple of bats that I've already die cut. Okay, so let's start to build our card a little bit. Now this is a Z-fold card. So what I've done is I've taken the front flap and I have scored it in half, and then I'm just going to fold it back on itself. So we're going to go ahead and burnish that, and then I can fold this forward. We'll burnish that, and this is where we will adhere this designer series paper. So let's go ahead and get this designer series paper down. right, turn it sideways for me, and then I'm gonna again slide this around to get it in the space that I want it in. This has decided to stick a lot quicker. I can tell that there's no ink on this one. That other one slid a lot easier. And the thinner you are with the glue, the less slide you're gonna have. So you just wanna keep that in mind a little bit. Trying to slide that. Okay, I think this is good. All right, so we're gonna leave that there. Then I'm gonna take this piece. We've got the pumpkin. This scene makes me think of Charlie Brown and the pumpkin patch when Snoopy's kind of sneaking through the pumpkin patch. And I forget who he's looking for, the great pumpkin or something like that. Do you guys remember that? Or am I dating myself? But when I was a kid, we always watched Charlie Brown's Halloween special. All right, so we got that down. Now what we're gonna do is we're gonna take this piece, and it's already been scored in half, so let's go ahead and get that burnished. And what we can do now is we can take the piece that was die cut, and I am going to actually put dimensionals on the back of it. So my dimensionals are here. So let's go ahead and get dimensionals on the back of it. Whoops. Well, come on. I got... Interesting. Okay, let's try again. Here. Here. And because this is such a long piece, I'm going to put pieces or dimensionals here, and then of course I don't want any mickle sag. So am I using too many dimensionals? It depends, you know. For me, no, but for you, maybe you want to get by with a little less, and that's fine too. All right, let me take these off. And again, since I'm not the best at lining things, I am going to, didn't get that one off. I'm going to put a little bit of glue on the backs of these so that I have a little bit of wiggle room. So let's go ahead and get that done. And this will give me some wiggle room. And now remember, with this particular one, we are going to put it so that it opens up this way, which is not how we normally do it, but because this is kind of a fun fold, we're going to do it that way. So I want to get this put together appropriately so that it will work the way we intended. All right, so we've got this. So I'm just gonna let this sit for just a second, and I'm gonna go back to here, and I have some ribbon that we're gonna use. This is the Mossy Meadow and Gold ribbon, and the first thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take just enough of it that I can go to the back. So let me grab my ribbon snips, and I'll snip this off. And then what we're gonna do is we're gonna flip this over, and I'm gonna use my seal, my Stampin' seal, and I'm just gonna put a layer down there, fold that over, and then I'm just gonna double check again to make sure I've got this centered appropriately. And then I can turn this over, and we're gonna put some seal here, and I can fold that over. Okay, so we've got that. Now what I wanna do is I want to adhere this fold. I don't want it to open up like this. I want it to stay down, but I don't want it to be flat, or I could have just cut it off, right? So I'm gonna take some dimensionals, and I'm just gonna put a few dimensionals right along the back here. It doesn't take, I just need it to stay down. So I'm gonna take a few dimensionals right along the back, and then when I open this up, I can fold that over. Whoops, I guess I gotta take the backings off. That would make sense. So we'll get the backings off here. Now, when I fold it over, it will stick. And there is just a little bit of dimension to it, just a tiny bit of dimension. So it's not completely flat, and that's fine. Now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take some more of the ribbon, and I'm going to tuck it in underneath here. And I am going to tie a bow. I'm gonna move some of this stuff out of the way because I'm feeling a little bit crowded here. So let me figure out how much I want. I'm gonna grab it here, perhaps, and then I'm gonna tie myself a little bow. So let's go ahead and get that done. And one side is a lot shinier than the other side, obviously. I'm tying my knot tight there. You could, if you didn't want to tie a bow, you could just tie it a little knot in it. So I got to do some finesse in here because I've got more on one side than the other, but that's okay. We'll get there. All right, so I think that's good. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to trim this side off. Get that. Whoop. There we go. And then I'm going to just kind of angle this one off just a little bit. But I got to do it straight so I don't have a square. Okay, there we go. Got it. And I think one side's going to be just a little bit longer than the other. So I'm going to trim this one up just a bit more. Just a bit more. It's preference. But I'm working with a small piece. Okay, this is good for me. All right, so we've got that. All right, now what we're going to do is we're going to bring this piece back in. And this piece is going to get centered in the middle of the back of the card. Okay, so let's go ahead and let's put some glue on the back of this. And then once we get this done, then we can start playing around. We're going to stamp our dog, our little dog. So let me get this centered up the way that I want it. Front to back, top to bottom. That looks good. And then what will happen is this will close and this will fold over, kind of like this one does. Okay. But we will put the rest of it down, and I'm going to actually move my bow up just a little bit so it's not in the way. All right, there we go. Okay, so we're going to go with this for now. I'm going to bring back in my piece that we're going to stamp on, move this stuff out of the way, and then we'll start to build the rest of it. I don't want to lose my bats. Okay, so now what we're going to do, and I should have done some stamping before I did this. I got ahead of myself. But that's okay. We'll make it work. Let me find my dog. Here's my little dog. We're going to go ahead and stamp him in Memento. So I'm going to get a good coating on his shoes and on his head. Okay. Bring my mat back in, which is right here. We'll go ahead and get him stamped. And then we're going to do some more coloring. Fortunately, these go really fast. Okay, do I have my Granny Apple Green? It's over here. Okay, there we go. Let's clean this off. All right, my Granny Apple Green is right here, so I'm going to go ahead and pull it. We're going to do him in Granny Apple Green, light and dark. Let me put this out. And let's see, this is my dark. So I'm going to use the dark to do his eye. And I'm going to do the little bolts on his neck. There's one right here. And I think that's all I'm going to do in the dark. Then I'm going to take the light, Granny Apple Green, and I will do the rest of him in the light. So let's get this blended in. Kind of fun to do Halloween colors. You know, like normally I would not color my dogs green. I just wouldn't. But this is a Frankenstein dog. So, and I think of Herman the Munster again. I don't know if you guys remember the show The Munsters, or if I'm dating myself once again. But Herman Munster was a Frankenstein and he was green. And so I've opted to, since he looks like a Frankenstein, I'm going to color him green. I guess you could use maybe even a gray. I think the movie Frankenstein, they were gray, but maybe, I think. I'm going to use, let me see, what colors do I have here? I've got Fresh Freesia, and I have, let's see, I've got other colors here. I've got Highland Heather. I'm going to take dark Highland Heather and I'm going to color his shirt. So let's go ahead and get his shirt colored in. And again, bringing in that purple. I love purple for Halloween. When I lived in the Philippines, so I had a secondment assignment when I was working corporate, and I spent a year in the Philippines as their clinical country head. And they started celebrating the holidays like Christmas during the Burr months. So September, October, November, December, all through the Burr months. So it was a long time that they celebrated the holidays. But outside of the hotel, it wasn't a hotel. I lived in a condo. Outside of the condo that I lived in, they had palm trees, and they decorated the palm trees for Christmas. And they decorated them in a orange. So they were using, I want to use a different color for my, this is dark basic black. What is this? Gray granite. I guess I'm going to use black. They decorated for Christmas, and they didn't use the traditional Christmas colors. So the palm trees outside of my balcony in the condo that I lived in, they were orange. They were orange. And of course, I thought of Halloween, but they were actually decorating for Christmas. So that was interesting. It was fun. All right, almost done with our dog. I'm gonna go ahead and give his little socks a bit of stripe, and I'm gonna also, I think I'm gonna color in his little sucker with some orange, and then we'll give some highlight with the dark. So I'm going to bring this in as well down here, and then I'm just going to take this little swirl, and I'm going to make this swirl dark orange. All right, let's move these out of the way, and we're going to go ahead and die cut our little dog. So let me pull this back out, and I'm going to put these dies back so I don't lose them, and I'm going to pull him out. And I've got some leftover tape from the last time that I'm going to go ahead and use. So we'll get this down. It's got some paper left over from my, from my ribbon actually. All right, let's go ahead and bring this in. You can tell my emboss is well loved, and I use it a lot. All right, let's cut this through. Move it out of the way. All right, pull this off. So now we've got our little pup, and I'll put this over here so we don't lose it. And then we're going to move these out of the way. I'm going to bring back in my card. Now, one of the things that I should have done, and this is going to be really interesting, I should have stamped on this piece. I was going to do no tricks or treats. Let me see, did I even pull that out? I did not. So let me pull this out of my stamp set. I've used up almost all the stamps. So let me grab a block. And I'm going to attempt, we're going to see how well this works. The reason that I'm a little iffy about it is because I've got dimensionals there. So I'm really, I'm not quite sure what my contact's going to be on this. I have a couple of choices. I could take it off, and do I want to do that? Normally I would. If we weren't running so long on time, because I've got one more card to make, I would take it off and I would just use my undo to do it. But we're going to, I feel like, the ink is spreading on me. Okay, so we're going to attempt, I'm going to hold it down, and I'm going to push, and I'm going to hope that the pressure that I'm giving it will be enough that everything will connect. Oh, and it did not. It didn't even. Let me see if I can do this. Line it back up. And I think that I'm really giving it some pressure now. Oh, not bad. Not bad at all. Phew, I really appreciate photopolymer stamps when you can look through them. That does not look bad at all, considering I should have stamped it before I put it down. All right, so moving on. Let's go ahead. We're going to take this little piece of Designer Series paper, and we're going to just put it right above the No Tricks, All Treats, so that our pup's got something to stand on. So we'll go ahead and get that done. And then it aligns side to side of this die cut piece. So go ahead and get that down. And then I'm going to put dimensionals on the back of my pup. So bring these in. Oops. Here, and I'm going to put another one down here. Okay. I think that will work. Pull the backings off. Okay, turn this around. And then we're going to place him right about here. Okay, nice. Now I've got two bats, so make sure my bats are right side up. I'm going to take the little dimensionals. Here they are. And I'm going to put one dimensional in the middle here. Actually, do I have them? I do. This is a good time to use the black dimensionals. I don't really want that white peeking out from the backs of my bats. So Stampin' Up! Does have black dimensionals, and this is a perfect time to use black dimensionals because you won't be able to see them. So I'm going to put one bat here, and I'm going to put the other bat here. And then we can close this up. I'm going to move these things out of the way. And now we have card number 2. How fun is that? Did I put anything on the inside there? I did. I say card number 2. I've got a couple more things that I want to do. I want to stamp Happy Halloween in here. Oh my goodness, I really just jumped the gun when I put that down, didn't I? All right, so let's do Happy Halloween here. And we're going to stamp, and this is so scary because it's already glued down, so I can't really make any mistakes. But we're going to get it. So try to get your stamping done before you put your card together. That turned out perfect. Whew. Okay, and then we're going to do this one. This is just some little sparkle, I guess. This is a little sparkle stamp. Thank you, Jan. It's coming together quite well considering my last minute touches. All right, there you go. All right, so we've got the sparkle here. I'm gonna pass on the pumpkin because I don't wanna spend time coloring in the pumpkin. But if you wanted to, like on the other card, you could put a little pumpkin down at the bottom of it. But it is a fun card. Oh no. Oh, you know why? Okay, let's talk about this. All right, let me clean these stamp pads, these stamps off really quickly, and then we're gonna make one adjustment before we go to card 3. When I open this card, my bat wing bends, and I don't want my bat wing to bend. So what I'm going to do is, the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to move my bat. Let me see if I can get him off. He's just got the one little dimensional, so I'm going to move him over just a bit. But even in moving him over just a bit, his little wing still sticks over the edge. I don't know if you guys can see that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my snips, and I'm just going to snip off just the end of that wing, okay? So now when this turns, his wing I'm gonna actually stick it down too. And we're gonna put another dimensional under there because we don't want his wings to get broken. So let me put a dimensional under here, and that will hold it down. And I'm using the black again. So there we go. All right, now we're good. Now we're good. It's all fixed. Yay! Okay. So that's card number 2. Now we'll bring in card number 3. And let me see, where is card number 3? Card number 3 is a fun card, and it shouldn't take us too long to put it together. All right, so this is card number 3. And basically, we've got the Granny Apple Green cardstock. And then I've got a piece of black cardstock that we're going to actually take our designer series paper. I cut a number of strips of designer series paper, and so basically what we're going to do is we're just going to tear all those down. Then I've got a label that was cut from the Fright Night stamp set. They've got some great labels in here, and so I chose to use one of these labels. So I did that, and then I ran it through the Forever Plaid 3D embossing folder. And remember that piece that I was showing you that we did the die cutting? I did have that here. This little piece right here, just to show you. It was done with the textured notes, and I used this die. All right, sorry, that was a squirrel moment. Back to this. I cut it, and then I embossed it. And now what I'm gonna do is I'm going to, do I have my white? Okay, I do. I have a piece of scrap that we're going to do our sentiment on, and then I've got a piece of scrap that we're going to stamp our kitten on again. I'm going to go ahead and ink up my label, and I'm using the white ink, and we're just going to go ahead and take the ink, and I'm just going to do some swiping. So I'm going to turn this over, and I'm just going to do some quick swiping on this. I'm not hitting it very hard, but I want to get some swiping, and it's just going to give me a little bit of texture, right? It's going to show my embossing. And it kind of gives a little bit of a spooky look, kind of, sort of. I've got a little bit of this baby wipe that I use, so I'm just going to clean off where I did that swiping. I'm going to put this off to the side. All right, let's go ahead and stamp, get that done, and then we'll start to build the card. So we've got our kitten again, and she is right here. So I'm going to bring in the Memento Black. Make sure I get her hat and her pot, because I am using her pot this time. We're not going to do a pumpkin. But I want to make sure I get plenty of ink on her hat. I think I need to disperse my ink better in my ink pad. I'm going to bring my pad back in. And this is just so I get a good connection, because it is a photopolymer stamp. But I feel like, can you see the light and the dark here, guys? I feel like I'm seeing light and dark, which means that when I go to stamp it, it's going to be light and dark. Okay, so let's go ahead and get this. There we go. She's done, and clean this off really quickly, and then we're going to stamp our sentiment, and then as soon as I get her all colored in, we will do our die cutting. Okay, don't worry, eat sweets. That sounds good. Don't worry, eat sweets. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and stamp this. I could have cut the die out, but since I was gonna be, and then just stamped on the die, but I thought, well, since I'm already going to be die cutting her, we'll just do them both together like we did last time. All right, so this is done. Now let's go ahead and color her in. Quickly, we're going to use the purple, so I'm going to bring these back out again, and I think I'm going to use Highland Heather and Highland Heather. So let's go ahead and get, I'm going to do her skirt. Just looks dark. My light Highland, is this my light? Yes, it is. My light Highland Heather looks dark. Maybe I should have used, you know what I'll do? I'm going to, so I don't have to keep coloring it, I'm going to bring in my dark Fresh Freesia. I'm going to kind of mix it up a little bit. We're going to use dark Fresh Freesia, because I don't think the dark Fresh Freesia is that dark. Well, it's dark, but it will, I think it'll be a contrast, a little bit of a contrast, I should say. All right, so go ahead and get that. I don't remember exactly what colors I used. I create my cards several weeks in advance so I can stay ahead of the game. And so sometimes I'm just winging it. And a lot of times I will change my colors actually. All right, I want more of a contrast there. So I think I'm going to bring out my marker. Now I wouldn't normally do this, but I do want more of a contrast. So now I'm going to bring in my grape, or it's not grape, it's, what is it? Is it grape? Yes, it is grape. I'm going to bring in my grape marker just so I can get a darker skirt. I just like contrast. Okay. There we go. Okay, perfect. And then we're going to do her socks in lemon, lime, and orange. Let's grind out the green. Let's get lemon, lime. We'll get her colored in a second. All right, let's see. Maybe let's have some fun. We're going to do this one here, like this, and then we're going to do this one like this. So she's going to have an orange shoe and a lemon lime shoe. All right, so let's go ahead and get those. I don't know what it is about stripes for Halloween too, but stripes are fun for Halloween. All right, I'm going to put an orange stripe across the top of her hat as well. All right, let's bring in the gray granite again. And this time I'm going to bring in the Flirty Flamingo. So let's go ahead. We're going to do the dark. This is actually black. I don't want black. So light gray granite is going to be her face. And I like coloring with the bullet tip. So I got to switch it out. So I'm going to get the face done. That, okay, and then we're going to do the dark. I'm going to get her ears outlined, her little, I guess cats don't have muscles, do they? So her little face outlined, and then her tail, and her hands. And then we're going to use the Flirty Flamingo for her nose and her ears. So a little bit darker than before. And I think I'm going to, I'm going to put like a little green stripe across this pot. There's some white showing through here, and I don't really want that white showing through. So, all right, let me move these out of the way. And I'm going to pull this die. We're using the textured notes again to die cut my sentiment, which is right here. And then I'm going to use her. Where's my stamp set? Here we go, here we go. Get him picked up. So I'm going to put him away, and I'm going to pull her out. I'm going to go ahead and die cut this. I got a little piece sticking through here. All right, more of my tape. I just reuse it again and again and again until I can't. So got that, and this one's kind of messed up with the, I'll grab a new piece. All right, so don't worry, eat sweets. Let's go ahead and get this down. So, and then I think probably in order to get it to go through my cut and emboss, if I'm going to try to pair it up with a cat, I need to cut that off. All right, bring it back in one more time. And let's see where are my plates. Right here. So I'll get that piece off. Put this in. Put this in. Let's see. Can I do them both at the same time? Yes, I'm going to. All right, side by side this time. All right, bring that through. Out of the way. Right. textured notes dies, I normally keep my dies in with my stamp set, but I use these textured note dies all the time. So I've actually put them in my stack of dies that I use on a regular basis. So I pulled them out of my stamp set because a lot of times I'm not using the stamp set, but I'm using the dies. So they will be with me long after the textured notes are not. All right, now let's go ahead and start to build this card. I'm gonna fold my granny apple green over and get it burnished. Get this stuff out of the way. So set that off to the side. Now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take and I'm going to arrange my strips so that I can get them down. We're gonna go like this, and I'm just gonna start layering them down. So a little bit of glue here, and I'm not worried about getting a ton of glue on this. All right, so just end to end. I like it when I just have to make it fit, and then they're sticking right next to each other. So this is actually a fast process. Straight down the middle, and butt it up next to this one. There we go. And then my next one. Put it up. Okay. Then we'll do this one. Put it up. Scooching it to the top. Okay. I keep myself useful for everything dies separate. Also, yes, absolutely. I mean, especially, I love it when Stampin' Up, you know, for like sentiments, for example, and they'll give you dies to go with them, but they're dies that you can use for all kinds of things. So, you know, if I store them with my stamps, I will never remember to use them. And I love this set. This is a great set. I'm gonna turn this around. Not that it's, I don't know if it's upside down or not, but okay. So I've got a little bit of black peeking through. Not a problem. I'm just gonna take my snips and we are going to trim this off, and nobody will know. So trim off the black. I don't remember if I did that last time or if I just didn't cut my strips the same, or I don't know. But it doesn't really matter because I'm gonna cut this off and nobody will know. But I gotta make sure I cut it close enough so that you can't see that black. But that's one of the reasons why I put it on black too. Not that I need to trim these off on the back, but it's all good here. There we go. All right, moving this stuff out of the way. And I do have a little bit of black showing here. I didn't get too close, did I? If I had my trim over here, I'd probably just give it a quick trim. All right, now what we're gonna do is we're gonna take this layer and we are going to adhere it to our granny apple green, make sure it opens up the right way. I have been known to put things on upside down. All right, so go ahead and get this centered up. Oh, you know what? Let's see. I think we're fine. It's not very straight. I think interesting. Oh well. It's good for today. Scooch this over. I've got more room on the back. If I had my trimmer over here, I could do one of two things. I would have trimmed this off first, or the other thing I can do is I can take my trimmer after the fact and do it, but we're gonna go with it for now. Things don't always come out exactly as planned, but I always have a way to fix it one way or another. All right, so we're gonna get this piece down, and I'm gonna center it probably right about here. I like that. And then let's put some dimensionals on the back of our cat. And we're going to put some dimensionals on the back of our sentiment. I think I'll just do that for now. And then I've got some little ones that can go on the back of the sentiment. So let's put one here, and then we'll do one right in the middle. So I'm going to put the sentiment on first so that I can make sure that I've got the cat spaced appropriately. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and put it right about here, maybe. Looks good. And then we'll take the backs off the cat. We'll put our cat right here. So cute. All right, there she is. She's waving at you. And let me see, I've got my stars. So we're going to use the black. And let's put one black star up here. And there's 3 sizes. I'm going to put one over here. And then I'll take one of these. Those ones are really little. We'll put it down here. Let me move this stuff out of the way. I don't want it to get in the way of the card. And we now have card number 3 done. Cute, huh? All right, so this was card number 3. Just bringing these back in real quick. So we've got card number 3. And then let me see, card number 2 was our pup. So I'm going to bring him in. Card number 2. Bring these down so you guys can see them. And then our ink blending for card number 1. Scooch them over. How fun, right? Okay, I'm going to come back and say goodbye. Let me see, up here. Oh, hi guys. Thank you. We went a little long today, but I had fun and I'm glad you guys were with me. Remember, this is a to-go class, so if you are interested in receiving the kit for free, you need to go into my online store and place an order, and then I send you the kit for free. I also have the tutorials. You can buy the kit without placing an order, because I know that there's demonstrators watching. And so if you want the kit without placing an order, thank you, Gian. You can buy the kit, and then in the next couple of days, the actual tutorial for this will be up in my PDF store. So thank you again for joining me today. I've got next week planned. I don't remember what it is, but it won't be Halloween. So anyway, we're going to start moving into the holidays, I believe, or at least enjoying a little bit more fall. So anyway, thank you for joining me today, and I will see you guys next week. Take care. Bye.